Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this live. I haven't done a live with you in a while.
Yeah, it's been long.
When was the last time you were live?
You and me?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while, bro. Quite some time ago. Maybe over 2 years.
No. We must have done a live.
No.
But you guys remember? Me and Imran, we used to do a lot more video. So funny, yeah? Somebody online thought we fell out because we don't do videos
So
together.
many people thought
It's not true. It's simply the
I've
case
been
of...
milking Subur recently.
Yes.
On the channel. I just put out a video earlier today. So make sure you guys go over to my channel on Epistemics and watch the recent video we did this morning.
This is actually live on your channel.
Oh, yes. It is live on my channel, isn't it?
Mr. Marketing. Okay. Assalamu alaikum from Jackie Boy, Pakistan and Islam lovers. Assalamu alaikum. Why? Aqib Ahmed. No, wait, not Aqib Ahmed. It's Adib.
Adib, HP.
Yeah, listen, the brother, mashallah, Adib didn't say salam, didn't say hello, just went straight into it. Why independent being must be eternal? That's it. Like, brother, please let us drink our greens and get ready for you. Okay. Ooh, do you like spaghetti? Where are? All right, where you guys? Brother Carl, mashallah, the attendee of the new Muslim retreat. Yes, brother Carl. Assalamu alaikum, brother Carl. How you doing? Hope you're well, my brother. Okay. Look at the names. Look at these names, man. These are some funny
creative names, mashallah, bro.
Yes. Oh, look, it's shot up. Numbers have shot up, mashallah. This is a drink that Imran has put in. So, Imran.
Yes.
Tell us about what you've been doing on Twitter, bro.
We've been in loads of spaces on Twitter recently that you haven't joined. So I hope you do join, inshallah. Mashallah, assalamu alaikum, POC, Army, new one, very Jackie Boy. Are you guys changing these names just to come onto his live stream? Because I've never seen these names before, mashallah. Some very interesting names, Subur, here. New one, very. Inshallah, Med, Park, Army, Zindabad. That's on the result today. Philosophy in depth. Mashallah, these are some proper creative names, bro.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
All right, good. So, what you been reading recently?
I've been reading a whole lot of weird stuff, bro, recently.
Really
weird stuff, bro.
Let's get into it. Weirdness is what this channel's about.
Weird stuff, bro. All over the place. UFOs, Jinn, psychedelics, AI.
That was so random.
Yeah, all of that type of stuff. I told you, it's weird stuff, bro.
So listen, brothers and sisters, before you start thinking, is the next video we're going to see of Imran on a park bench with a tinfoil hat talking about the airwaves? Or is it going to be Imran actually dealing with this topic in an academic way?
Hopefully dealing with it in an academic way. But that's only going to happen if I keep my distance from you. Because in that case, I'll definitely end up on a park bench, bro. You like your park benches in cans of tuna and this type of stuff, mashallah. There's some questions coming through.
Okay, so let's get into this thing. Firstly, Imran, this is something I just want to run past you. Yeah, there seems to be a...
Oh no, wrong one.
What are you doing, man? There seems to be a interest human beings have in the supernatural, which has nothing to do with the current issues that you're talking about. It's actually just a human disposition. For example, when we were young, the most famous book in the world that was written for children was Harry Potter.
Yeah.
In the naturalistic West, in the liberal West, in the woke Western world, the last coughs of logical positivism and scientism is here. Yet we have people who are so interested in magic.
Yes.
And you find this, I mean, you pick up a newspaper in London, and in the back you see sometimes
Horoscopes.
adverts, horoscopes.
It depends where you are. If you're in Southall or Wembley, you'll see those palm reader.
No, Imran, you'll see that in Metro newspaper, like the standard free newspaper that you get in London. You'll see, this thing. I went to I'm not going to name the place, but I went to a town center, and there I saw, like, behind a curtain, and this wasn't an area with like Hindus and stuff. It's just a normal English sort of area. And in this area, they had in the town center, they had this guy behind the curtain, and he was palm reader type. And then the curtain was slightly open, so I could just see inside. And there was a Hindu symbol, a picture of Jesus, and the word of Allah. So weird. Didn't make any sense.
He's probably trying to appeal to different demographics.
Sadly, some Muslims go to this stuff. Oh yes, the Forbidden Prophecies video. Yes. All right, so let's get into this. What have you been reading up on?
Is that a question on the screen, or are you just asking?
I'm asking you.
I told you, bro. Loads of different weird stuff, man.
Talk about it.
There's a good. So I did a video recently, a presentation on the Jinn and UFO topic, and a bit of an in-depth one. So what I did, because there's been a lot of scattered ideas and thoughts we've been putting out over the year, and I wanted to sort of collate it and bring you all together in one presentation. So that's there. You guys can watch that on the channel here. You guys are joining from my channel. It's about an hour long. And the reason I've been looking into this, bro, look, alhamdulillah, at least one thing I always try to do when it comes to going into new topics and seeing and asking the question, is there a potential dawah link? Is there an opportunity for dawah?
Always is.
And there always is, yeah, with this stuff, subhanAllah. And any other topic as well. And so, yeah, there is definitely an opportunity for several reasons. One, because like you said, there's already a framework within our society, the secular society, where people have this interest and fascination with the paranormal and weird stuff.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing a shift where more and more people who were previously maybe atheist or naturalists are starting to have weird experiences. They're starting to, engage in weird practices and see weird things, and even the government speaking about it in America, and there's congressional hearings. So it's a good time.
Before we get down into some of those details, nobody said the fact that Sulaiman, alayhi salam, the Prophet, forced the jinn to build his masjid is proof that they can materialize within our dimension. The fact that Dajjal will have jinn impersonate a person's parents is shapeshifting.
Yeah,
didn't think of that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, there's actually narrations. The Prophet ﷺ has given us many hints and insights into the jinn. There's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ says that the jinn are of three kinds, and the scholars mention that it's not limited to these three kinds, but he highlights three.
Maybe those are super categories.
Yeah, possibly, yes. One that appear in the form of dogs and snakes, meaning those that shapeshift and take the form of animals. Ones that fly through the air, right? That's the other category. And ones that come and go. Right? So they're quite broad categories, right? They can.
Wait. Hang on. Yeah. You said the first category, we can say animals.
In the form of animals or physical things, beings. Yeah.
Second is flying.
Flying through the air.
So you got land.
Yeah.
You got air.
Yeah.
In and out. What does that mean?
Possibly. Again, we can
in and out. In and out. Could that be
dimensional? Yeah, that's what I was
thinking. That is amazing.
And
that is really
the interesting thing is, so when I did that presentation, there are, when you look at these three categories and you look at the UFO phenomenon, it fits into one of these three categories. What people are seeing and witnessing. Things that fly through the sky is the main category that's been spoken about in Congress and amongst the military guys and all of this stuff. The second category, in the form of dogs and snakes, animal forms, this you will see in places like Skinwalker Ranch and other places. Get back here, man! You're shifting my focus.
Sorry.
He's shape-shifted and gone through a dimension himself right now.
Yes.
So yeah, the cats, the snakes and dogs. There's reports of people seeing weird animal wolf-like creatures that come and disappear out.
Do you think
nowhere.
there's Jinn in Murray?
Bro, there's absolutely Jinn in Murray. I've heard stories from you about Jinn in Murray, bro.
There's plenty of Jinn in Murray. So if those of you guys don't know, I'm from a place called Murray in Pakistan.
The mountains.
Mountainous area. Famous for its beautiful mountains and just the area. But crazy Jinn interactions in that place. There's a lot of Jinn in Murray. There are a lot of jinns because you got one house here, one house all the way over there. People do magic as well.
Yeah, uninhabited places.
Yeah, people actually do magic. People find stuff, buried stuff, and people do weird type of taweez type stuff. There's always a lot of very bizarre things happen in that place.
The funny thing is, if you go cross-culturally, bro, so you look at the practices of magicians in Pakistan or India, you look at the practices of magicians in places like Mexico or somewhere in
okay, so you just said Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Carl said skinwalkers.
Yeah.
I remember you were telling me about this. What the hell is
the
this
Native
about?
Americans? So the Native American tribes in America.
Can we switch that light off? It's
You don't
blinding
like
my eye, man.
All right.
It's like in my face. Let me see.
You're a vampire.
That's all right. That's all right. No,
That's all right.
that's all right. See, that light was doing my head in.
Yeah.
Get in there.
So Native American tribes, they in their traditions they have this creature called the Skinwalker, basically. Now the Skinwalker, well, there's a few interpretations. Yeah, one interpretation is that it's a witch.
Okay, so just before this,
Yeah.
let's do the backstory before we get into what skinwalkers are, and then Skinwalker Ranch documentary, blah blah blah. Apparently, there was a Native American tribe which was cursed by another tribe.
Oh, you know the history. You've been doing some research.
No,
mashallah.
not quite.
This
not
guy's
quite.
a closet guy, bro.
No.
He's been in the closet.
No.
He's been in some sort of closet, bro.
No, well, actually, I have been in a closet, but that's got nothing to do with this topic. That's just me. Sometimes it's good to find a safe space to go and sulk. No, you told me.
Did I tell you this?
You told me this. Yes.
You have a good memory then.
Yes, I do.
Because when I tell him stuff,
Alhamdulillah.
normally it looks like he's just seen a jinn, and he's completely out of it.
No, that's when you bore me. When you tell me something interesting, I listen.
Oh, but this time around, I thought you were out of it when I was speaking to you, when I mentioned this stuff to you.
All right, let's do this. Go on. What is the Skinwalker Ranch thing? Come on, let's do it.
So Skinwalker Ranch.
Look, I'll tell you something interesting. Remember I said this to you.
Are you on crack?
No, listen, sorry.
You're asking questions.
No, but I'll answer the question.
One thing to another.
Do you see how the numbers are shooting up on this? Why?
Mashallah.
Because we're talking about Jinn.
Yeah, and you sound like you've been possessed or just come out of a possession incident, bro.
No.
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Just tell us the history of the cursed ranch.
So there's Native Americans in America. There's some communities of them in Utah. Now this
is pre-modern times.
Yeah, of course, yes. And there were different tribes, and the story goes that one of the tribes, there were feuds between them, and one cursed the other with the curse of the Skinwalker. Now the Skinwalker is this shape-shifting being, which can take the form of dogs, animals, wolf-like creatures.
So I guess the third category could be possibly right.
Well, that's the interesting thing is, if you look at the narration of the Prophet ﷺ, where you mentioned that there are the type that appear as dogs and snakes, the type that fly through the air, and the type that come and go. If you look at Skinwalker Ranch, which is basically a property in Utah, right, which is known as the path of the Skinwalker, right, the place of the Skinwalker. Now, I'll give you some interesting facts about this property in a second, but the phenomenon that's going on that ranch right now, it fits all three categories. They see things in the sky, lights and orbs and craft or whatever fly through the sky. They see things that come and go, right? Strange things that's different frequencies and pick up stuff on the sort of Geiger counters and radioactive instruments. And then they have the shapeshifters. There's stories of wolves, tracks of wolves that start in the snow and they follow the tracks and they disappear, and it goes nowhere. There's a story of one of the previous ranchers shooting at this wolf-like creature with a shotgun, and nothing happened to it, and it just walks off and its tracks disappear. And it was attacking one of the cattle before they shot it. So really strange, weird stuff. But the interesting thing about the ranch is is that the American government's taken a lot of interest in that ranch, right? A lot of interest. And there was a couple of, maybe I think in the 90s, they spent like 22 million or something, 22 million, and they contracted an external private company to spend time on the ranch and study the ranch and study the paranormal activity on the ranch itself. So the government's spending money to study it. You know, like they say, there's no what do they say? There's no smoke. There's always, if there's smoke, then there's a fire or something like that. So there's something going on there that the government's taking interest in as well.
Yeah.
And this stuff wouldn't have come out if it wasn't for the interest in.
When we did the live stream, when we did the space, the Twitter space. By the way, join Imran on his Twitter spaces. He's doing some really.
We'll go on tonight, 8 o'clock, inshallah.
Tonight, 8 o'clock.
You're going to be there as well.
Yeah. I'll join in, inshallah. With the Twitter space, last time I was on, I said, if something like, let's say hypothetically, well, not hypothetically, forget that. We know for certain as Muslims that jinns have been used to construct things. It's in the Quran.
Yes.
We know that jinns have certain powers because, Allah's given them these powers and they are misused by, for example, they can be misused by Dajjal.
Yes.
We also know of jinns converting.
Yes.
So we had the jinns that gathered around the Prophet ﷺ,
yes.
and we had jinns who were Jewish faith, jinns who were Christian, jinns who were Muslim. Okay, perhaps jinns which are atheists, could be anything, right? So clearly they interact with the world, they do these things. Why would a government avoid such a power if it knew that it existed?
Of course it wouldn't.
So if you look back at, I was watching this program, period programs where they show times during the medieval time or the Romans, or I was watching something about the Mongols.
Yeah.
And so unsurprisingly, in this series about the Mongols, there was a Mongol witch and there was a Mongol shaman type of witch who was there to, do these things and make predictions and spells. And so the Mongol government had, if you like, that type of person. Now, I was watching another period drama to do with the UK, and this is to do with, before even England as a kingdom was put together. Again, the leader of one of these kingdoms, he had like a shaman. Why does it keep happening? Okay, when it comes to Fir'aun, what does he do? Gets all these magicians. So clearly there is a link between the governments, and are we saying that somehow that link just
even
broke?
in Britain, I think it was one of the queens, John Dee, who was one of a this guy is a big man.
That's very
Britain and science itself, bro.
That is very interesting. Please talk about John Dee.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend too much time on it, but he was the right hand of who? Which queen was it?
It was it Victoria?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
This is Adnan would know because he talks about John Dee.
John Dee, his scrying mirror, I think, is still in the British Museum, right? Scrying mirror. So there's a mirror he would use to contact beings and get information. It's like a crystal ball thing. They used to have scrying mirrors back in the day.
Have you seen
it? I haven't seen it. No.
Let's go see it.
I tried going to British
Museum
the other day,
see it.
but
let's forget this magic stuff.
From a distance is enough just to get the point across. He had a massive influence on the founding fathers of science as well. If you look at the founding fathers of science in the West, bro, most of them were alchemists as well. Yeah, I mean, they were part of the occult, some of them.
Yeah, well,
they were engaged with stuff, bro.
Alfred Russel Wallace, Darwin's right-hand man, he was an occultist.
Most of them were, bro. If you read the histories, most of them were engaging in this stuff. And they were looking for the
and let's be frank, some of these people were not only into occult, and these other academics were into masonry. Yeah, right.
And masonry has links to the occult as well.
Obviously. Yeah. So Zoomnia, which was written by Darwin's grandfather, Erasmus Darwin.
His name sounds like a witch.
Yeah, Erasmus Darwin was a confirmed Mason. Like, that's undeniable. Like, nobody can deny that. And I remember I was talking to Sheikh Green about this, and I was like, we don't really have evidence that Darwin was a Freemason. And he's like, "Are you serious?" It's like if his grandfather's a Freemason
Yeah.
and his grandfather was actually quite high up, why wouldn't he be? In fact, I've got a talk on this YouTube channel about the links between Freemasonry and Darwin.
Yeah, bro, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's all there.
And if Masons are definitely into the occult.
Of course.
Like, why? You've seen their weird rituals.
Yeah. Muslim took me to the lodge once, bro.
I'll tell you something interesting. I don't think I told you this once. I moved into a house in Oxford when I was a teenager, and we moved from a different house to this house. And the person who lived in the house was some old English guy who just lived on his own or whatever and died.
Yeah.
And he was subscribed to the Masons Quarterly. So he was a Freemason, and he was getting this magazine. Even though he was dead, he's still getting. So I used to open it up as a teenager and look at all this Freemasonic stuff. And bro, you know what? I remember there was like an advert for a mainstream car company. If you're a Mason, you get this much percentage off. And it wasn't a spoof. This is a real thing. And then you had all the robes and all this weird stuff and the rings
and stuff
that you could buy.
Yeah, it's all linked, man. There's a deep occult tie-in with the advent of science in the West, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the Greeks, if you go back, bro, they used to have the belief in daemons. They used to call them, yeah, these beings, these beings that we would engage with.
I don't know why when you said demons, I thought Johnny's the person. Short on. Sorry, it was short on. Johnny, if you're watching this, please join this live stream. We would love for you to join. Getting into, you said the Greeks were interested in this, right? Yeah. The Masons, obviously, they were there. The Hindus have been very interested.
The Egyptians had every culture, bro, has had an equivalent of the Jinn, bro. Every culture has, and the equivalent of magic. Their own version.
Even the Soviets, didn't they have this program to do with telepathy? Or
the Americans did, bro. There's a movie. Have you seen that film? It's called The Men Who Stare at Goats. It's a George Clooney movie. It's a very basically it's about the program the American government ran. I don't remember exactly when, in the 70s or 60s, studying remote viewing. I think it was Project Stargate. They spent again money to study so they could remote view what was going on in other countries and other military bases and what people were up to and all of this type of stuff. So, bro, of course they're interested in this stuff, and only Allah knows best what they've got and what they're messing around with. And there's some crazy stories, bro, that Farouk's told me his own, man. I don't know if I could say them here.
A friend
get you in trouble.
A friend was telling me of his sister, not Muslim. She went to a particular place with her friends, and one of her friends, she didn't want to go to this witch. This is here in the UK, right? She didn't want to go to this particular witch. They just wanted to, just see what this witch is about. So anyway, she dropped off. The sister's friend dropped off. She said, "Drop me off at the petrol station. Pick me up." When they went to this witch, right? And this is my friend telling me the story. The witch said, "Where's your friend?" And they're like, "Huh?" And they said, "By the way, your friend was sexually abused when she was a child. Something about her past."
Yeah.
They went back to the petrol station and they told her, and then she got really sad because she got upset that she knew stuff about her.
Yeah.
Thing is, even secular minded people, they have interaction and fascination with these things. And we can't deny these multiple testimonies from many different people, some religious, some non-religious, of the same phenomena.
Yes.
There is something beyond the material. There's something beyond the physical.
Yeah.
I myself, I've had Jinn experiences. Let's just leave it there. Like undeniable Jinn experiences.
Absolutely. You've shared some of them. Maybe you can share some.
No.
Not today. Maybe another
let's
time.
look into this comment. This comment's interesting. I'm going to go
check my phone for a second. So Subgeti says, I recently converted to Islam, mashallah. Brother or sister, may Allah bless you and make you strong and firm on the deen. Because I had experiences with the Jinn. They are real, but no one will believe me. Yeah, no one will believe you these days, brother or sister. See, this is the thing. Well, give it a little while. My prediction, Sabur, is in the next 5 years, within the next 5 years, more and more people are going to be accepting of the supernatural.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a sort of tinfoil hat type of topic anymore. Yeah, where it's going to be accepted in the mainstream.
The thing is, look, I think if you go to Leicester Square, we've been to Leicester Square. In fact, we should go to Leicester Square and talk to people about this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, if we go to Leicester Square and we start talking to people about, oh, this conspiracy, that conspiracy theory, people are, oh, this guy's he's whacked, right? You start talking about the paranormal. Trust me, Imran. People start saying, you know what? I had this experience when I was a child. You know, like that guy that was talking to Farouk, the guy from like Essex or something, right? Just some random guy on Twitter. What did he start saying?
Yeah, he's 51 years old, a very nice guy, and he said he had experiences as a child and he could relate to Farouk. He almost took a shahada, mashallah, bro, the other day.
So why is it that we keep coming across these people who've had these experiences?
Well, I can guarantee if we go and do a survey and you interview 100 people in Leicester Square, I would, bet, and we don't bet, but I would say that at least 90 to 95% would say, yes, I've had some sort of experience in my life.
Yes.
That's anomalous. That I couldn't explain.
Yeah.
See, this thing I think is good too. We should address
We
this.
can't prove any of this outside experience. Therefore, it's not believable. What do you mean by proof? Right. Can we prove morals? Can we prove that we exist? Can we prove that Imran has a mind, he's not a zombie? The thing is, there are repeated testimonies from people about supernatural experiences which are cross-cultural, universal, everywhere. You have these. And we can't really put these types of things under the carpet.
And you know what it is, bro? There's always going to be a resistance to this topic, yeah? Why? Because it destroys the current paradigm. It destroys the materialistic outlook on reality, bro. People like to be comfortable. People like to be psychologically comfortable. People want to, when they have a worldview gives a human being stability, right? As soon as that worldview is shaken or rattled, people don't like it, right? Because it pulls the rug from under their feet. But we're living in interesting times, bro, where the rug's been pulled on a grand scale now, bro. Media outlets, popular YouTube popularizers, very famous people, the governments, they're all talking about this stuff. Whether it's, whichever way you look at it, subhanAllah.
Yeah. The poltergeist in Green Street, Enfield, was as real as I am. They have multiple film documentaries, and the building is just off. Now, I mean, so many places in the world you go to, okay, don't go to this area, it's cursed. Don't go to this particular thing. I mean, the Quraysh as well, right? The Quraysh. Okay, here's something very interesting, right? The Quraysh were disbelievers in the hereafter.
Yeah.
The Quraysh did not believe in something they can't see. The Quraysh were very materialistic. They were, they believed in God, but almost like a deistic God. God creates and, very little intervention. Yet the Jinn is something that they knew of.
Yeah.
And they, look, here's something very interesting. The Quran is for all nations, all people, all tribes, for everyone, all groups. Allah mentions Jinn repeatedly in the Quran. Even in Surah Rahman, when Allah is talking about, O company of men and Jinn, men and Jinn, men and Jinn. Okay. If you translate the Quran into Chinese, they have a word for spirit, jinn, demon, something.
Yeah.
English, something. Arabic, something. African language, something. What language exists that doesn't have a word for this phenomena?
It's there, bro. Yeah, and I think that if we deny that, I mean, that goes again. I mean, you couldn't study the world, bro. You couldn't do sociology. You couldn't do anthropology, because these sciences are based on human experience, bro. Cross-cultural human experience. You can't just deny this stuff. Yeah, something is going on. People haven't been just loopy throughout the centuries and been reporting the same thing essentially from different parts of the world in the absence of communication with each other, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Imran, this is a good time to just go over a beautiful app which I have been promoting, which is the Quranly app. Imran, tell us why Quranly app is fantastic for people.
It makes it easy for you to engage in reading the Quran on a daily basis. It's going to be in your pocket. It's an app, and I think one of the best things, bro, about this app, at least that I've noticed me personally, is it's very simple. The user interface is very simple, mashallah, and there's got some very unique features as well, like the Hasana counter. You know, and initially you hear that and you think gimmick, but it isn't, because it motivates you in reciting and getting into that habit of reading the Quran daily. So definitely check it out if you guys haven't already, mashallah.
Absolutely fantastic. And it's something which I believe, look, I just tell people 3 verses a day. Say after Fajr, just read, right? How long is it going to take you? Sometimes outside of Ramadan, people don't even pick up the Quran. Just keep it simple. There's a lot of questions coming in, a lot of comments coming in.
Oh, you should start answering some of them. You just
no, but okay, some of these are like to do with, I want to keep it on topic. Like this topic is like, you know, is that relevant? Imran become fat. Why, brother?
Brother, I have gained weight over the years. I haven't gained that much weight. I probably
No.
look a bit more fat in this.
No, he hasn't.
Not that fat. It's coming off, but inshallah.
Okay, let's see. Are there jinn animals in Jinn world?
The jinn have their own animals. Yes, there's a narration about this. It's when the Prophet, I can't remember exactly where it is, but they have their own animals. Yes,
it's very interesting.
Yeah, you know, it was the beautiful narration. You know, when the Prophet ﷺ was reciting the Quran. You know when that happened?
No.
And the jinn heard. This was straight after Taif. So when the Prophet ﷺ went Taif, and we know what happened at Taif, and then the Prophet ﷺ left Taif and he's coming back to Mecca, he couldn't go into Mecca straight away because of the situation at the time. So we had to wait. So he camped outside Mecca for the night. And it was during Fajr prayer, when he was reciting the Quran, that's when Allah sent the jinn. And the scholars mentioned, bro, check this out here. They mentioned that the people of Taif, the human beings, rejected the Prophet ﷺ, but Allah sent the jinn and they accepted the Prophet ﷺ's message and they went back to the communities and gave them da'wah.
And they were Jewish, weren't they?
The jinn that came to the Prophet,
because they spoke about a book that's been revealed after.
Yeah, they
Moses.
mentioned the scriptures of Musa alayhi salam.
I have an interesting jinn story. Go on, just read this.
Where is it?
One of my aunties got slapped.
Well, I'll read it. I have an interesting jinn story.
I don't mean that. So, do you know what? It's just sometimes things come out of the blue and make you laugh.
I have an interesting jinn story. One of my aunties. Oh, read the whole. Let me just read the whole thing. Stop it.
Oh my
One
God,
of my aunties was slapped by a
hilarious.
jinn, and can you stop that, please,
Sorry.
bro? Come on, man. By a jinn after putting hot water in the sink. After she heard a angry voice, we brought her to the hospital. They can't do anything to help her. SubhanAllah. May Allah cure her. But yeah, I've actually heard something similar before. I don't know where, but about pouring hot water. I can't remember, so I'm not gonna say anything further. But yeah, may Allah make it easy for your auntie, brother or sister.
Move to the mouth until you bring her to a car. You read the Quran. Every time the Quran is recited, the mouth started moving. May Allah give us shifa.
Yeah, this stuff is like, I've seen Suleiman, do his ruqya sometimes, bro, and I've seen some crazy things with him. But look, the thing with possession side of it is, one is that's the most common thing we hear about when we talk about the jinn, and sometimes, it's one of those areas, sometimes people end up believing they're possessed because of their psychological disposition and because of the way jinn the waswas of jinn and the way the shayateen give waswas to these people.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things, you can't really pinpoint, is this person possessed directly or are they being just hammered by waswas in a way where they ended up believing they're possessed. What's that about Hindu from India?
Okay. Now, I don't agree with this because I have a friend whose dad is an atheist, but he believes in jinn because of the interactions that he's seen between his son and jinn. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
true.
atheists. Look, the way they would interpret it, they won't call it jinn. They probably call it ghosts or poltergeists, or they may even try to explain it away in some way, shape, or form. But I know even one of the brothers told me one of his non-Muslim friends was having issues, and he did ruqya on him, and he felt much better, but he didn't accept Islam.
Allah.
Yeah, strange stuff, man. What else is there?
You didn't open it up Q&A.
Yeah, I thought it was already open. Or can you open it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, man.
All right, brothers and sisters, we're here to answer questions about jinn today. And sorry, I was not laughing at his auntie getting hurt. I was actually laughing at just the word slap. You know, sometimes this
cherry picked in it. Yeah.
No, I just saw something about slap and started laughing. So apologies if anybody was insulted by that. Okay, this is something else I read that was making me laugh. What? Don't read it out. Don't read it out.
Honestly,
you know, sometimes you're in a funny mood and you just certain things start laughing.
Yeah, but that is a weird one. Bro.
That is a weird one. Okay, can you please switch on your camera? Okay. The brother, I left the link for anybody that wants to join. So we can answer some questions about atheism, evolution, and jinn tonight, and we can answer about nihilism too. So Umar bin Ali, you're in the background. Can you please just switch on your camera for a second, switch it off, and then we'll let you on. We just do this ID verification because funny things happen when we don't do that. No, he's gone.
What's ID verification?
Nothing. Can you switch on your camera for a second, and then you can switch it off again? We have to do this background check, Imran, because so we can see you from here, but we're not going to add you when your camera's on. We have to do this identification. I was on a webinar, and someone started playing porn, and it messed up everything. Wittgenstein, Hunter. Anybody, can you please switch on your camera for a second so we can see?
You're not going to be on the live stream. It's just the verification.
Wittgenstein. Okay, yep. Wittgenstein. So we're going to add you.
Wait. Just let him switch his camera.
You can switch your camera off or on. It's up to you. It's up to you. There we go. How are you doing, brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi. How are you doing there?
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. I'm calling in from Pakistan. So I just want to.
Which part of Pakistan? Which part of Pakistan?
I'm from Lahore.
Oh my God! You're near Sialkot, where he's from.
Yeah. I don't know about how close am I to Sialkot, but I just wanted to mention Kasur, which is like on the outskirts of Lahore, and there's a folklore in Kasur where this big masjid came out of nothing, like literally nothing, in the middle of the night. And the folklore goes something like the jinns were responsible for the masjid. And it's literally there. You can go there, and there's no historic record of such masjid. And yeah, so the thing is like, and the thing is, it's exclusively for the jinn. So the jinns pray in that masjid. So if some human tries to go inside the masjid, they get hit by stones. This is something pretty well known in the village of Kasur, which is on the outskirts of Lahore.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Pakistan is jinn interactions are true, but I think the habit that it's not just Pakistan, it's just generally in the Muslim world, there's a lot of stuff being shared which is not verified. So then when someone does come with a story, it's hard to kind of verify it. But I don't know, like I wouldn't be able to say if that did happen or it didn't happen, but I think that's one of the problems in Pakistan. A lot of people, I mean, there's legitimate stuff that's happening, and then there's other stuff that people just make up, you know.
I have mutawatir reports from a couple of close friends and siblings and my own mother. Yeah. So yeah,
Really? Oh, of
yeah.
somebody
So
getting hit by a stone when you
yeah,
go in.
exactly. Like stones being literally showered on them.
Need to send you there. I want to send Sabur there, and I want to video him getting battered. That will make
Mhm.
my day, honestly. But yeah, brother, it's look, conceptually, I think it can work, but obviously, inshallah, you know, we can only take your word for it. And but conceptually, we know Allah refers to them as builders and divers in the Quran,
That's right.
right? So and we know they built things for Sulaiman in Islam, and they probably built things previously, and Allah knows best. So conceptually, yeah, I don't see an issue with that. SubhanAllah. It's a very interesting story, though.
Very interesting indeed. So thank
The
you,
last,
brother.
yeah, the last story, if I don't mind. This is my last story. Then I'll leave. If you don't mind.
Sure, sure.
So the last story goes something like I've shifted recently to a new place, but the last place where I used to live. So the thing was like there was this guy like who used to live, you know, uh, behind my house, right? And obviously his house there used to be a beautiful recitation of the Quran, right, after Fajr prayer, and I was quite curious because the voice seemed to come from the servant quarter, and from what I know, the house was abandoned. Like there was no one in the house,
SubhanAllah.
and that's something eerie. So like, I came to know that yeah, there was someone there, and like there was a little kid who used to be there. He was doing his O levels and all, and yeah, got to know him. And I thought he was a jinn or something. I made this up and started telling people around me that yeah, there's a jinn behind me, like, and he's reciting. And came to know later that it's a little kid who is doing his O levels, and he used to recite the Quran. Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
crazy that
Sometimes
went on.
rumors are like that.
Yeah, I'll be off. Assalamu alaikum. Akhi. Yeah, I know more people will be on.
Allah.
Take care.
Okay, we have Hunter, Aran, Arman. Anyone switch on their camera first? Like Hunter, you can switch it on. Okay, Aran. Yep, you can switch it off if you want or keep it on. We have a brother, Aran.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Wa alaikum salam. Where are you calling in from?
Northern Iraq or Kurdistan, whatever we might want to call it.
Yes, Kurdistan. One of the du'at in London. May Allah give him Jannah. Abu Yasin. He was Kurdish. Yes, he is one of our teachers actually in the Dawah. MashaAllah.
I wasn't aware actually. Yeah.
So,
So I do not have a story. I have stories, but I would rather not tell. But I have an opinion regarding this issue.
sure.
Yeah. So like brother, the things like anything that's not empirically verifiable, I would say the only other way we can verify things is through the hadith and the Quran, because those are established by other means. Yeah. So whatever the Quran has to say is by by that standard has to be the truth, because
Yeah.
the Quran is established in other ways. Yeah. The same goes for the hadith and the prophetic tradition. However, let's say the previous brother, there's no actual way to verify that or to disprove that, to be honest. Like the interaction of jinn is undeniable, but the ways through which they do that, like the extent of the interactions that Allah allows them to do it is, I think it's semi-mysterious and also questionable. I mean, not to say that they do not happen, but to verify them is actually very hard.
Yeah. I see the problem with that. And this is why what happens is it's kind of interesting from an epistemic point of view that you can't verify that mosque incident, but you can verify the fact that him, multiple other people that he interacted with, and all over the world, everyone just keeps talking about this spiritual creature, that spiritual creature, supernatural creature. We have definitely that as a mutawatir reporting, right? We have that as something comes again and again and again and again. And that correlates nicely with what we know in the hadith literature.
Yeah.
About
So that's
jinn.
what I'm saying. Conceptually, it makes sense, and there's multiple sources of reporting. But at the end of the day, you have to be careful, especially considering the context. Like Sabur said, in places like Pakistan, unfortunately, a lot of things are sensationalized as well. These stories for other motives and stuff. So it is what it is, subhanAllah.
Yeah, but the as you said, the interest is global. Like in Japan, like I like the video of the Forbidden Prophecies of Brother Sabo that I did years ago. There's this thing where they're actually technologically very advanced, and far from religion in certain aspects. But the phones that they produced in the flip phones, the flip phone years, did not have the number 4 on it because they thought that's unlucky, the number 4, and they have these sort of strange things happening, in their culture. So that's global, I think. But the instances that happen, although I agree with Brother Imran, some of them, have to be true, or some of them are true, but it's very, very hard to verify them. And some people are obsessed with it to a point where they, some of them might actually do and reverse engineer those things, or someone might actually be shooting rocks at someone at a certain mosque in southern Iraq, let's say, because people over there, southern Iraq, have this obsession with such stories. Anyway, I wouldn't take any more of your time with my broken English. So
very good. Thank you for joining the stream.
Yeah, Jazakumullah khair as well.
Okay, we have many stories of jinn building. Okay, Brother Faisal, you can switch your camera on or off. It's up to you. We'll join you there. Assalamu alaikum. Salam. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, alhamdulillah. It's good to talk to you, Brother Sabur. I've really enjoyed your work, especially on the evolution and that side. Interesting question. Where do you think jinn fit in the evolution theory?
Where do you sorry, say that again?
Where do you think the jinn fit in the evolution theory?
No, they wouldn't fit in. They wouldn't fit in because evolution as a theory, and again, let's just always define our terms. Let's just call it Darwinism.
Yeah.
So Darwinism is being defined as, and actually this is a good I think this is a good definition. Darwinism today, we can call it Darwinism 3.0. Okay, so we had the Darwinism of the classic Darwinism of the Victorian era. Then we had a modern synthesis of the early 20th century. Then we had the extended evolutionary synthesis of the early 21st century. And that is Darwinism 3.0. So Darwinism 3.0 is to do with the origin of species. How do species originate and develop over time and transmutate and all that good stuff. So it's really got to do with material things. I believe Muslims should try and keep discussions of jinn to a minimum when it comes to challenging certain other things like evolution, because then everything gets discredited. But there may be something going on. because the reason why I'm saying that is just conceptually, natural selection works on random mutations, right? That it works at that level, right? And natural selection is what? It's the environment. It's essentially a way of describing the environment. What is part of the environment? Jinn. So in a way, it's kind of like in a way, it's kind of unavoidable. But I wouldn't take it that way.
Yeah, it will be really interesting to have get these atheists to speak about their spiritual experiences and sort of try and see what they understand, where this all sits down, because it's very interesting how things break down when atheists start talking about spirituality and their own understanding of how things come about. One other question, it's sort of it's less of a question, more of a observation. The fact that so I'm also from Pakistan. I'm living in Canada, and it's like in Pakistan, a lot of people don't really understand how the jinn work with these sahir or the magicians, right? And how to identify these magicians. So that may be something very useful if we can talk about it, because
It is.
like,
It is. And brother, I think Faisal, your name is brother Faisal. In Pakistan, there are peers, right? They are
yeah,
these fake religious figures who go from town to town. They hoodwink poor people. They strip them of their money by telling them, "Oh, you can't get pregnant. This and that. I can do this." You have Nanga Peer. You've probably heard of that guy. You have Shushuf Peer, the other one, right? You got all these guys. The thing is, some of these peers, I can't pinpoint a particular one, but some of these peers and the stories that you get hear from people with what's been happening, I wouldn't be surprised if they've been using jinn themselves, these peers, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all. There's a lot of funky stuff that happens, and I definitely know of one person who was very dodgy, who I met many years ago, and he was definitely interacting with jinn. And I had first-hand experience that this guy was really dodgy and dealing with jinn. So yeah, I mean that's a good topic that someone
yeah,
should.
no, I myself have had first-hand experience, and it's just so interesting that it took us to migrate from Pakistan to come to Canada to realize how much we were impacted as a family group, right? With this
Interesting.
sort of thing. It's because really, while we were there, the idea never actually came to us that this is what sihr is, this is what ruqya is, right? People over there, they mix things up because these people, most of the time, these sahir, they would basically impersonate a religious individual, someone with religious authority, to get sort of get past that barrier that people have over people's belief, right? And it really took us to come here. And the first time the ruqya happened in front of me, and it was really a family member who was impacted by this, right? It really blew my mind that
Mm,
this whole thing, it just opens your eyes to
mm.
how things can be uh, right there but hidden from you.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting, brother Faisal? Um, this is a phenomena that I've noticed, and I wanted your thoughts on it. Not just to do with Pakistanis, but also to do with Moroccans and Egyptians and Sudanese and everybody from the Muslim world. That when Muslims happen to travel to the Western world, you find that those Muslims no longer are hostage to the local form of Islam, which is sometimes just very cultural, right? And they get exposed to a whole bunch of other Muslim groups and Muslim ethnic groups as well, not just religious groups, and that creates a type of natural selection or competition of ideas. And then you start to see more Muslim orthodoxy amongst Western Muslims than you would do in a Muslim country. So I'll give you an example. You may find relatives in a Muslim country who are less knowledgeable of Islam than the relatives who are living in the West because of this mixture of all these different Muslims from all these different lands. I don't know what you think about this because this is something.
I agree with you because let me say it this way, that until you see your ideas being challenged, you don't really know what was wrong with them, right? So even though you've lived in a Muslim country for your entire life, it's really when you come out of that paradigm and somebody asks you, why were you doing this? Right? That's when you start thinking, really, why am I doing this? And then you realize, like in Pakistan, the idea of Hanafis, Shafi, which madhahib you're following, that's sometimes you don't even question that. It's really, it gets into too complicated. Most of the time you're just following the local masjid, and you live your whole life in a community. You grow up in that community, you die in that community, your whole life is spent there. You never see anything challenge your views,
Yeah,
right? And it's really when you come out of it, you sort of see these competing views, and then you realize this is what was wrong back there, this is what is wrong here, and then you
yeah,
start sort of building your own sort of culture,
yeah,
sort of speaking. And then
yeah.
it really comes down to those, and I feel that it's really these people who've come out of that paradigm who can actually question and move on in the ummah and probably lead the ummah in a new direction, because the people back there, they're sort of stuck. Like, just taking one thing as an example, right? The idea of marriages in Pakistan, how they happen. Okay, you don't question that. You have 7, 8, 9, 10 different functions, a whole month of events at times. You don't really question that.
And the boy is not allowed to see the girl,
Yeah.
which
And the
even
girls never ask for her opinion.
yeah,
That's very common there as well.
there's forced marriages as well in some places. And what I also, I mean, there's certain things which, when you are exposed, I really like the way that you put it. It's about being challenged. It's about being challenged, and then you evolve and you change your ideas based upon how how robust your ideas are. And I also think there's another thing, Faisal, that when you become a minority, you are forced to sink or swim. So some people become liberal, and they do. You find the most liberal, vile, liberal type of Muslims, right, in the West, like really liberal ones. The liberals in the Muslim world are not as liberal as the ones which are here. But likewise, on the other flip side, the religious ones are more likely to be not so cultural and be more authentic in terms of sources, because of they're always surrounded by people with different traditions. So that's just a very interesting observation. And I think maybe there's a distinctive type of Western Islam, just like there's a Pakistani Islam, Bangladeshi Islam. I don't mean we change Islam, but I mean like you have that label for culture plus Islam.
Yeah, and we all know that Islam is not anti-culture. It really allows you to build your own culture, and it's not frowned upon as long as the culture doesn't go against the religion itself and the those tenets that we have to follow. I don't think Islam becomes Islam puts down any specific culture. So the Western culture, as we speak of, or the culture in Canada, UK, US, or anywhere else in the world, it's not bad per se. It's really certain things in there that may be anti-Islamic.
Yeah, and you also start to realize when you live in the West, some of the most amazing cultural things in the Muslim world which do not exist in the West, right? So I'll tell you a little story, Imran. I think this is very interesting, right? In Islamabad, I'm sure this will be this case. Somebody from Bangladesh or Khartoum will say there's something similar. I went to someone's house, and there's an old man that I saw, and I asked my friend whose house I went to for the first time in Islamabad that, oh, is that your grandfather? Just an old man in white clothes. He said, no, he's an old man that lives nearby, doesn't have any family, so we told him to just live with us. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Here in the West, people are putting their parents in retirement homes, and then you have a supposed savage, backward country like Pakistan, where there's an old man who lives in the neighborhood, and people decide, well, why don't you come live with us, old man, because you're alone. These barbarians, I mean, we're supposed to be the barbarians, right? But people are putting their, like, there's a house. Do you remember the house in Southall I lived in? Right? You helped me get that house. That house, right? Well, I was told the story of that house is that the old woman who owned that house, the English woman, she put the house under her son's name. Her son forced her out and put her in a retirement home. Like, that's what's happening. There's a story in one of the British newspapers where a son was invoicing his mum for visiting her. Did you hear about this? Anyone in the comments, maybe you guys can find this. Man. Yeah, no, this actually happened. This was actually in the newspaper. This is an extreme case. Obviously, this doesn't happen all the time, but it just goes to show you how sick society is. So thank you, Brother Faisal. We have quite a few people waiting for us. It was so nice to see you.
For having me.
Welcome, salam. We have our brother Carl. Yes, Carl. How you doing?
Assalamu alaikum. Do you hear me?
Salam.
Wa alaikum salam, Carl. We don't need you to switch on your camera, bro. We can recognize your voice.
How you doing? You good?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So this is Brother Carl, who you will find his story on the IRA channel. MashaAllah, he accepted Islam. You've been Muslim for how long now?
About 17 months now.
7,
Yeah,
8
18
months.
months.
MashaAllah.
About 18, yeah. My question was, of all these, if you read through the chat, everyone's kind of with Jinn, it's all bad. Like, have you ever heard of a good interaction with Jinn? Like people that have had a good dealing with them, or are they just all envious and hateful towards humans? Are they jealous that they're not us, or because I've never heard of anyone having a good encounter with Jinn unless they're doing some kind of deal.
So we know that the Prophet ﷺ had a positive encounter with Jinn because they accepted Islam with him. So
that's one, yes.
Yeah.
But generally, it's not so the thing is, you're absolutely right. Amongst the jinn have communities like humans have communities, right? So there's many jinn and there are many different dispositions and backgrounds. But as a general category, you can divide them into good and bad, just like you can with human beings. So there's the good jinn, and then there's the bad jinn. And the bad jinn we normally refer to as shayateen, or the shaitan. So that's why Iblis, who rejected to prostrate out of respect to Adam, he was then called Shaitan thereafter. And he's smiling when I say the word Shaitan for some reason. I don't know why.
Short on.
So yeah, so Shaitan. So the bad jinn are the ones that normally disturb and disrupt and have engaged with humans throughout history for a negative purpose. Generally speaking, the good jinn and humans, there's always been a distance. And it's not recommended for humans to engage with the jinn, right? Even the good jinn. Because one of the wisdoms potentially is because it's a very dangerous situation, because the jinn we know have certain abilities and they do certain things. Now, therefore, a human being could very easily fall into a type of shirk or where they associate partners with God if they ask for help from the jinn and the jinn start doing certain things. But you don't want to get into that sort of area. That's probably one of the reasons why it's always recommended that humans don't engage with the jinn, even the good jinn. So it's, although if you look at there's a very good book by a scholar, Farouk was recommending this that day. It's called The World of the Jinn and the Devils. And this sheikh, what he does, he goes through the history of it and he highlights that, there has been reported or recorded interactions between humans and jinn, and you could say not evil jinn, and according to most scholars at the time, when history, it wasn't seen as something haram, but there are elements that can be dangerous. So, it's very easy for a human. You can imagine the scenario where if a human engages with a jinn, and again, there's an assumption that he's good. We don't know, because the shayateen, the evil jinn, may deceive the human by acting as a good jinn, right? So there's always that confusion as well. Where that encounter can easily result into a human falling into shirk, right? So it's never been recommended historically as well. Yeah, it's best to just know about them, because Allah mentions and speaks about them. And I think the biggest thing we should focus on knowing about them as Muslims is how they can negatively impact us as humans.
You want water?
Get some water. Inshallah. So hopefully that clarifies, bro. There definitely have been reports of encounters, but normally it's the evil jinn that engage with that have interacted with humans throughout history.
Okay, no problem. So it's literally they're just bad personalities, bad, they're just bad. It's just the way they are.
The nature is deceptive as well. Yeah, they have a deceptive nature. They like we know from, even when you read the Quran, you see how Iblis or Shaitan said certain things to Adam, about promised him certain things about immortality and a kingdom, and and made our father Adam slip from that perspective. So this is why the shayateen will always, they have this deceptive quality about them and they deceive human beings. Although interactions these days are far and few in those types, normally we hear of possessions and those cases, but it's not that it can never happen, so and this is what we're seeing amongst many of these quote unquote the guys that experience the whole UFOs and aliens. These beings that they're encountering or engaging with are deceptive. They say certain things to them that are not true. They make up certain things. They promise them certain things which are false. and they mess them up as far as the belief systems are concerned, and they end up with all these strange beliefs about reality and about God and about existence and all of this type of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem, Carl. Thank you, Carl. May Allah bless you, bro.
Take care. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, bro. So we got two. Walaikum Salam. We have two. We have not two. One. We have Ali Awan. Device not connected, but it's saying. So, brother Ali, if you want to connect your device and then come back on, inshallah. Let me see if I can share the link, because anyone that's joined now may not have seen the share link. So I'm going to share that with you guys now. Oh, mashallah, we got brother Imran. Let me just send this link and get. Yeah, brother Imran, I'm going to get you on so you can switch your camera off if you want, or you can keep it on if you want. It's your choice, bro. Inshallah, whatever you prefer. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, good.
So I wanted to see if I should switch on the camera, because I have a question for you specifically, for you too. The question is, okay, I will turn on the camera, inshallah.
Yeah, bismillah, bro. It's always preferred, bro, if you switch on your camera.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalam.
Why is this camera all messed up? What did you do?
So my name is Imran. I'm from. So I don't think you've seen that kind of a mix before. I'm from Russia. My mom is Russian. My dad is Lebanese. So it's a a new cocktail for you, probably.
Let me try and come up with so Lebanese Russian. How do you do it? Russianese.
Clearly.
You're Russianese. Okay.
So I had a couple of more points to mention. So about Jinn, you talked about why the Western Islam is more pure. And another thing, I wanted to ask a question.
Sorry, I didn't say Western Islam is more pure.
Yeah. I mean, I know you said what you said is like the Westerners, because they don't have this cultural, let's say, background. So there are no premises, basically. Yeah. So the first thing to mention is about the Jinn, and in a da'wah center in Istanbul, there is stories. Basically, I wanted to say that a lot of Muslims, maybe in the West, because I was shy to talk about the Jinn with the non-Muslims, because I would be considered scientific, whatever, and but there was a story of a woman coming to, and actually, Adnan Rashid, he was coming to our center not a long time ago. He was in Istanbul and he was coming to our center. Yeah, so a woman was coming to the masjid, to the big masjid in Istanbul, and so apparently she had, like, it's either sihr or jinn or whatever. And me personally, if I would have talked to her, I would never say it's jinn. I would never say things like this. Like, I would never even assume, because even with Muslims, it's not 100% thing, because maybe it's something psychological or whatever. But one of the sisters, the volunteers in the mosque, she told her that this might be jinn, that we have to do ruqya. And this woman, she was actually convinced. She said, yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I was surprised. And after maybe a couple of days, maybe next day, this woman, she actually accepted Islam.
Allah Akbar.
No way.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, this woman that came to the mosque, she actually.
We shouldn't be shy of this topic, bro. We should say it as it is. You know how unfortunate it is that many Muslims today are also saying, "Oh, jinn, it's just psychological. It's not a real entity. It's metaphorical. It's no nonsense."
We are the product of scientism, right? We're affected by scientism, and we have this inferiority complex. Oh, it's not empirically verifiable. Let me not talk about it.
Shut up, empirically verifiable, bro. These guys, these non-Muslims, bro, they have experiences. They're confused. They're looking for answers, bro. Yeah, it just requires a bit of confidence on our part, inshallah, and say, yeah, you know what, this might be jinn. We can't say in certain terms in many cases, because you don't know the person, you have limited information about them, what they're experiencing. But if it fits the categories, then say it's possibly jinn, because what that does, brother, also, it opens up their mind. It breaks that materialist narrative for them. You know, that there's probably something more to reality. And as soon as their mind opens up to something beyond the physical, now they can contextualize what they're going through easily, right? And it makes sense to them. Whereas the materialist narrative, bro, it confines people so badly that there's so many things that happen to them that they can't make sense of, and it adds to more confusion.
And you know, one small thing I want you to say to my brother Imran Yusuf, you right now, my brother, you are a conscious being. You have a level of consciousness, self-awareness, third-person subjective experience, first-person subjective experience, and you have a mind. None of that is empirically verifiable. None of that. It doesn't fit naturalism, the conscious experience of the human being. So someone says, I don't believe in something. Okay, what about you right now? You believe you have a mind? Am I a zombie? Do I have a mind? Right? The fact is, we shouldn't give in to their empiricist onslaught, a verificationist onslaught onto religion. Yeah,
absolute nonsense, and it's falling apart right now as we speak. Honestly,
yeah.
Sorry, brother, you carry on. You had something else to say as well before we rudely
this is basically what I wanted to say. Yeah, so I wanted to say that we should not be shy, because I was, and now, like, after this story, after I saw this, some people, they're not shy at all. Yeah, but probably this is actually from the, let's say, from the level of iman. If you're not convinced fully, you're shy to say it. And so that's why we shouldn't be shy to talk about the jinn. Yeah, this is the thing I wanted to mention for the da'is, for the Muslims in general.
I agree.
In the West, because I think in Pakistan, in my republic, in Russia, no one's shy to talk about. It's actually like the kids, they're talking about the jinn in this.
Are you based in Istanbul or Russia?
So now I'm studying in Istanbul, in University of Istanbul, but like my family is in Russia, and hopefully I will.
Inshallah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the Russian language for dawah. A lot. Russia is power. It's not just a regional power. It's a world power. In America, people know about Islam. In America, there's lots of literature in English. How much literature is there in the Russian language? Islam has been in Russia for 1,000 years. In fact, as you would know, southern Russia is Muslim. There's a lot of Muslims in southern Russia. So
Dagestan and these things.
Dagestan, Ingushetia, Tatarstan, Chechnya. Sorry?
I'm from Tatarstan.
You must be good at wrestling.
Look, Tatarstan is not southern Russia. Tatarstan is actually central Russia. And unfortunately, Tatars, because my mom is like Russian, she's a revert. Yeah, but Tatars in general, unfortunately, they're now, even culturally, they're weak. They're very, so we say, Russianized. Yeah.
Is that where Kazan is? Kazan.
Exactly. And really,
Kazan was an empire.
Yeah.
It was actually an empire. It was a Muslim empire in central Russia.
A very strong one.
This is 400 years ago. And one of the Tsars invaded. Who was that?
No, I mean, a bit more than 400 years ago. It was the Ivan the Terrible, and he invaded the city. He invaded the city. So, and a lot of Tatars, they were Muslim. And my family, if you go, like, from my mother's side, if you go back in the time, so we're Tatars, but the culture is basically Russian. So you will not find any difference between Russian and Tatar culture in our family specifically. Wow. Why? Because Ivan, when he conquered the Kazan, what he did, he bribed some Tatars, he tortured some Tatars, some people. Why? So they would accept Orthodox Christianity. And when the people accept it, then their family, you cannot really differentiate between Orthodox Christians, between Russians and these. So it's like our family is Tatar. We even spoke Tatar language, my grandfather and so on.
Sure.
Give me.
Sorry, Akhi, carry on, please. Sorry, I'm just trying to share the link.
Carry on.
Unfortunately, even the Tatar culture itself, which had some Muslim influence, it's gone in our family, and a lot of Orthodox Tatar families. Yeah.
Hmm.
But this is aside the point. But my point was about Tatarstan is that unfortunately Tatars, they were very weak. They were, because they're in the center of Russia, so they have no, even politically, socially, they have no way to, let's say, to border themselves from Russian influence.
And
But
some,
Dagestan and
Chechnya, some Tatars, they went to Poland, and there's Muslim graves like hundreds of years old.
I did not know that.
And there's actually a history of Tatars in again, communism made them lose a lot of their religion.
This is the biggest reason. Yeah. But if you will look like at republics where Habib from, like Chechnya, Dagestan, like the Caucasus region, they're very strong. Their Islam, I mean, in a lot of the families, their Islam is showing. Yeah, they have some, even culturally, they're Muslims. Wrestling and this and that. It's very good. Tatars, unfortunately, they're weak socially, economically, even physically. You will look at them. It's not as, let's say, strong of a Muslim community there. So in Dagestan, you will see illegal fighting gyms, underground fighting gyms, where there's like some kind of Islam spreading. Yeah. Wow. Because the police influence is not as much. Dagestan is kind of on its own. In Tatarstan, it's not like this. In our republic, it's not like this, unfortunately. And you said that there's a lot of content for da'wah that we can translate to Russian. Yeah, you said. And actually, I was watching Ayira's new Muslim support course like a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, and I was thinking maybe I can translate it to English, to Russian. I mean, from English to Russian, because we have no content in Russia. Unfortunately, we have no content, zero. And we had a publishing house.
Do it, brother. Do it.
We had a publishing house in Russia. It was called Ummah, like the publisher. They were publishing good books, but it's not a da'wah book. It's not da'wah books, but it was good books like Ibn al-Qayyim's books and the historian Muhammad Ali Salabi, the Libyan historian. He did a lot of books, seeras, etc. And the founder, he was jailed.
Allah.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we are facing. So we have to be a bit diplomatic here and there. And,
I mean, the thing is, Muslims have to be smart in Russia. Muslims need to not do anything illegal, even if the law is something ridiculous, right? You just have to avoid doing something that will put you into the government's wrong side. At the same time, look at what the government is trying to do. For example, the Russian government, it made a statement along the lines of insulting the Prophet is not freedom of speech. Insulting the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is not freedom of speech. There's other things that the government's doing which are funding certain masajid and certain stuff. So the thing is, there's always ways of, there's always good people and bad people. There's always ways of working together, because look, at the end of the day, there's nothing to stop the Russian population watching videos on YouTube about Islam and accepting Islam. Russians accept Islam. They are Russian reverts. I remember coming across a Russian revert sister from St. Petersburg not too long ago, and she was a very strong Muslimah, and she's proper ethnic Russian, and as you know, Russian people are tough people. They're not like, if they become Muslim, they're like, yeah, I'm a Muslim, like, that kind of, what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of, I mean, I don't want to get into too much details about this, but Russian society, if you look at their fertility rate, if you look at the alcoholism, the problems that they have socially, the breakdown of the nuclear family, the zina that happens, and people, they can't keep together as partners. So the thing is, Islam has a lot of solutions for the people.
Yeah, this is actually in our Dawah Center the biggest category of people who's accepting Islam for some reason. It's Russian women.
Amazing.
Like every week there is someone, every maybe 2-3 women that are accepting Islam. I mean, it's also because a lot of Russian women are coming to Istanbul to visit as tourists, but it's still a big thing. Alhamdulillah.
That's amazing, brother.
Yeah, and
That's amazing. MashaAllah.
I wanted. This is a personal question that I wanted to ask. I did not know either to turn on the camera or not, but my face is already on YouTube. I wanted to ask a personal questions to because I'm not like an experienced guy, maybe a couple months in, and I was wondering if it's a good thing or a bad thing because it really affects your niyyah strongly, and I would suppose it does, yeah. And I had these doubts: should I not? The question is: should you take money for da'wah from a foundation or whatever? Yeah. So this is basically it. Like, should you not? Is it a good thing? Did you have experiences with that kind of job or whatever?
I would say you need to firstly, everybody should have certain scholars or certain mashayikh or teachers that they can go and speak to in their local area. In terms of halalness, it's halal.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Then it's
I'm
about
asking-
whether. But it's about, for example, everybody should volunteer for dawah, but some people are specialists, so they're hired full time. And they may be an accountant, it may be an operations person, maybe a manager, maybe somebody working in marketing, somebody working in fundraising, somebody working in logistics, somebody working in materials production, printing, could be lots of things. As long as a person does their job, that does justice to what they've been asked to do, and then does things on top. In fact, there's one scholar who said, he's here based in London, he said to the du'at who are paid, he said, your ajr begins not when you complete your hours, but when you do your supplementary hours. Now, I'm not saying he's right or wrong, just trying to show a sentiment here. So you'd have to ask someone locally, but I mean, in terms of halalness, it's obviously halal, but obviously you should try and do things in a voluntary capacity as much as possible.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. My question really was about practically, like, because I know that it will affect not only mine, everyone's niyyah, you know. But
then it's a personal thing. You have to look at it. Some people are so dawah crazy, they give dawah all the time, and if they get the opportunity to work as a full-time da'i in Africa, Latin America, whatever, they just go crazy and do even more dawah. But there's other people who don't give dawah and they want to work in the dawah field. Well, probably not good for them. Then there's other people that affects it. They know themselves. Every human being knows themselves. They know it's going to affect their niyyah, then they shouldn't do it. Other people, they know they can control their niyyah to some extent. So it's a personal decision. It's something that you have to do istikhara about, and Allah knows best.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, brother Imran. I'm looking forward to you doing some things in Russian.
Translation. If I can help you with the New Muslim support translation, I can do it, and then I can send you whatever.
Yeah, you got my email, darwiniandelusions@gmail.com.
Okay,
it's on my YouTube channel. You can email me, and then I'll pass you on to someone that deals with translations, inshallah.
Okay, perfect, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Jazakallah khair, bro.
Assalamu alaikum.
20 minutes.
Okay, Hindu Win. Can you switch on your camera so we can see who you are? And you can switch it back off, and then we'll add you to the call, the stream. That chocolate is very nice. Why does it? Why is it
dark chocolate, bro?
But why is it so sweet?
It's not sweet. It's bitter.
It's sweet. And is it?
This stuff is very good for you. Yeah. So if you like chocolate, try eat more dark chocolate.
Look what Abdullah Ahmed has said.
Yeah, I'm a researcher in the history of religion. There is no tribe or nation that didn't believe in spirits. And tribal religions are filled with this stuff. Absolutely. There's just no doubt about that. You know.
Okay. Who should we go for next?
Anyone that switches their camera on for Sabur's check. So Ali, Awan, Hinduin, Hunter, if you guys can just
post the link again, please.
I can't. I've been trying to do it. How do I paste in this? I don't know if you use Apple. Paste it. Paste it.
Paste it then.
I can't paste it. I don't know how to paste
Control V. You don't have to use a Mac.
No.
Savage.
Windows. Okay, no one's switching the camera on, bro. So there's no checks.
Brothers and sisters, whoever's joining, please switch on your camera from the back so we can see you're not a robot before we add you to the call. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to sticks out to you?
Joe Jackson. You can switch off your camera now, or you can keep it on. It's up to you. You can keep it on. No worries.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you, Joe?
Alhamdulillah. My name is not Joe. I don't know why it's showing Joe. It's actually Mubashir. I'm not sure.
Allahu Akbar. What's your name?
I had a interesting question for you guys, if you could kind of entertain me. I want some clarity on. I mean, this is not like I'm Muslim, alhamdulillah, but I want some clarity on like how do you guys feel about what happened during the Enlightenment era and the overemphasis on empirical knowledge and the development of technology taking over, the same time that the church over state was kind of decided with the community of France and Europe and all that. Like how this seems to be like a big thing for atheists to pound. Like I've seen all your debates. I've seen Daniel Haqiqatjou, all of them. They kind of pound this into the society, and it's to be fair, it's a pretty good point, right? Now, Daniel will say something like it's the slow deterioration of society that they didn't take into account. Because now society is heading for a default. We're at like very low birth rates. People are not getting married anymore and things like that. But what other angle would you guys take?
Why don't you start us off? There's a lot there.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm sorry to bombard you with.
No. I mean, I'll put it. What's your name, brother?
Mubashir.
So what's the gist of the?
So I'm going to rephrase Mubashir's question.
Yeah.
Mubashir, let me know if I've represented you properly. Basically, we had the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
We had the increase in scientific knowledge, technology,
yes.
And then at the same time, we had the reduction in power of the church and religion. And then today we have all these social ills.
Yeah.
So what do you guys basically think about this?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you were saying?
Yeah, but I kind of want to know from the standpoint of the like I guess you would say like the liberal side. They will say like, look, we set church and tradition aside, and that's when we made advancements in technology.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, got it. Yeah. MashaAllah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give 1 second. I mean, say 1 line, maybe answer, 1 minute answer, and then Imran can carry on from there. That's just a snapshot of what happened in Europe. In the Muslim world, there was science and technology and all this fantastic stuff happening while religion was upheld and the adoration for God was upheld. So that's just a European experience. And secondly, the other point I wanted to make, I think, is absolute nonsense that as Christianity or the strength of Christianity went down, the natural sciences went up. In fact, what you find, and you'll find this in Stephen Meyer's book as well, Return of the God Hypothesis, you find this in other places. You can look at David Lindbergh, Patricia Farah, Science of 4,000-Year History. It was Christians and Muslims during their respective times of their golden eras where they were facilitating science. There may have been issues between the Catholic Church because of Aristotle, not because of Christianity, because of Aristotle and his ideas and certain people dealing with what's it called, Kepler and others. the fact is, it's not as simple as they try and paint it. And the social ills is something that, you know, we can speak about in a bit. But I think the overall story that they put together is just completely false.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I, for some reason, this is like, especially for people who are in graduate studies or postgraduate, they're pursuing any type of science field. They're kind of, this is like set in their mind, right? I feel like unless you're doing some type of philosophy degree where you understand the philosophy of science, most people who are pursuing engineering or things, they kind of just accept this. Like, we have to put empirical knowledge above all else.
Yeah, no, it comes as a package, isn't it, brother? Like, it was a whole package that was implemented at the time from every sphere. So from an educational standpoint, they pushed empiricism. You had the logical positivists initially who pushed this notion that, you know, whatever comes from the scientific domain is what we consider as true, and anything else, you know, it's just myth or it's just made up and we shouldn't take it seriously. And then on top of it, I think it's the church there were elements of the church that did oppress free thinking and some of the thinkers at the time. And there was this agitation amongst some people, because why was the agitation there in the first place? That's another interesting question. Why did why was there a group of people that wanted to explore and study the universe and study things and gain knowledge? It was because of the Muslims anyway. The Muslims preserved the works of the Greeks and the classical works. And then when the Westerners, the rest of Europe, saw, oh wow, look, there's all this corpus of information and knowledge that we almost lost, they started going over to the Muslim world and studying this information, and then came back with it and started their own universities and so on. And so the motivation to study and to gain knowledge and to engage in the sciences came from the Muslims in the first place. And you've noticed this amongst the Enlightenment thinkers, the initial thinkers, the first movers and shakers, they weren't really atheists.
No.
Right? They weren't. They believed in a higher power. They even said things like, you know, we do the science because there's order in the universe. Why is there order in the universe? Because there is a higher power. There's a creator, a cause. So they didn't become atheists straight away. It was a gradual thing over the decades and centuries.
And this thing that writ large Christians became atheists is not true. Theist scientists have existed for a millennia, and it wasn't a gradual thing where, okay, majority of scientists now don't believe in God. No, actually, you even have scientists today who believe in God.
Yes.
You just have periods where certain ideologies take off. Soviet Union, you know, majority of scientists were atheists, but in the West, at one point, they weren't. Today in the West, are the majority of them atheists? I don't know. Where's the evidence that they are?
They're not. They're not. I think the most vocal ones just are.
Yeah. And what they do is they have a very liberal definition of the category of atheist, because someone who's agnostic, that agnosticism doesn't mean that they're an atheist. They could simply be agnostic about religion, not God.
But they'll chuck them into the atheist category.
Yeah, they'll chuck them
just to get the numbers, basically. And you're right. It's the famous side.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. You guys are both versed in philosophy, right?
Right.
I know Sabur is. I've watched many of your videos. I know you held a doctorate, I believe it is, in philosophy.
No, I have a master's in philosophy.
Okay. So can empirical knowledge lead to truth? Is that a true statement?
Empirical knowledge can lead to truth, but the whole scientism issue is about the claim that they make that empiricism is the only way of gaining knowledge. And the problem with that is it faces a problem of self-referential incoherence. you can't prove
you gotta explain that. I don't know that term. I'm sorry.
Okay. Empiricism is the only way of arriving at truth. This statement, empiricism is the only way of arriving at truth. That statement, that proposition, can you empirically verify it? Is that is that something that's logically undeniable and empirically verifiable? No, it's not. So it's self-referentially. It is self-referentially incoherent. When you refer to itself,
or self-defeating. Or self-defeating.
Self-defeating, the better term.
Easier way to put it. And again, it
along
just
with
shows
logic as well, right? You cannot empirically prove logic either. Like, what tools are you going to use to prove
Yeah.
No, you can't.
the fundamentals of
Mathematics.
logic itself?
Yeah.
The laws of
Yeah,
logic. I mean.
Yeah. Those are axiomatic things they need to accept to do the science.
Presuppose.
So yeah, they're presuppositions they have to assume, without which they can't do science anyway. So there has to be the assumption that the universe has uniformity, or that mathematics works. In the absence of these tools, or that human beings have rational cognitive faculties which can lead to truth. Without these underlying fundamental assumptions, you can't do science. But you
Right.
can't prove these scientifically, right? So again, that refutes the axioms of science itself, refute the notion that science is the only way to truth.
Right. Right. All right. Cool. That's it. Sabur, I have one more question for you.
Yes.
I watched the video of yours. You were debating one of the clowns that comes on Speaker's Corner. It's a white guy with. It's an old video. You kind of demolished him on atheism. I don't know his name. But you said something interesting in that debate. You mentioned, do we have rationality form? Do you remember this?
Say that again. What did I say?
You asked the atheist, like, do we know where rationality comes from?
Oh yeah. Where does our rational? What's the origin of these rational faculties? Yeah.
Origin of rationality. Now, is it possible, like, you can link in the chat or anywhere where we can find, like, studies today that they are proposing, like, this is how rationality is formed? Because I think all of that is tied to the mind. It's not a brain function, right? Rationality, I believe it is a mind function.
The origin of reason is a live area in which there's a lot of discussion. If you just put in Google Scholar origin of reason and just start looking at,
there's a good book. There's a good book, brother. It's by Thomas Nagel. It's called Mind and Cosmos.
that's a good one.
He's an atheist, and he basically highlights the theories they present and why they're flawed. And he even goes as far as to say that we have to sort of look past the naturalistic paradigm to explain rationality, consciousness, ethics, things like this. So it's a very interesting book, inshallah.
Thomas Nagel.
Mind and Cosmos, Thomas Nagel.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you for your time, guys. I appreciate it. Okay.
No worries. Thank you, brother Mubashir.
I need to.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Walaikum salam. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to be ending the live stream. We can't add more people because
brother, look, he's upset. Just get him one. Just one.
No, but the thing is, there's a lot of people waiting because I have to take somebody.
Okay.
I have to go drop them. What the heck is that?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. So, brothers and sisters, inshallah, we're going to be live soon. Should we do it Fridays?
Yeah, Fridays is good.
Fridays is good, yeah?
Fridays is good.
Okay. Fridays, I think, should we call it Friday Night Live?
Yeah, call it whatever, inshallah.
Are you available next Friday?
Inshallah.
So, guys, the problem with Imran is, he makes commitments and then he's
No, I don't make commitments. I just don't make the commitment in the first place. Don't lie.
Okay. He doesn't make commitments because he's a fool, right? So Fridays?
Inshallah, let's do Fridays.
Friday, we can go live on Twitter. We go live on both of our channels. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And very interesting.
Yeah, exactly, brother. Salam alaikum.
How you
I've
doing,
been trying
brother?
to get your attention for a while now, and I was waving these books at the screen, trying to hope that you would see them. Yeah, I've got something interesting for you here. So this is you were talking about magic and jinns earlier. I'm a convert, by the way. 20 years now, alhamdulillah. So that's the Entered Apprentice Handbook right there. You can see the first degree Freemasons tracing board right there on the front cover. That one is the Fellow Craft Masons Handbook and the Master Masons book. So I can explain something here quickly, but first I'd like to quote you a hadith. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن من البيان سحرا أو إن بعد البيان سحر. So just for those who don't speak Arabic, that means that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, indeed, in some eloquent speech there is magic, and indeed some eloquent speech is magic. So I just like to see how observant you brothers are. I'm not trying to catch you out here. What do you notice about these books? I just find it a point of interest. Do you notice anything different about any of them, or anything that stands out at all?
Well, the colors stand out, and then
aside from the colors,
the size of the books.
Keep going.
The author, same guy.
What hadith did I just quote for you, brother?
That
it was about speech, wasn't it?
Eloquent speech, yes.
That's just a clue for you.
What do you see?
Do you want me to tell you?
No. I like. I show the blue cover a bit more clearly. The blue one.
Excellent. Come on.
No. If you put down the other ones and show the blue cover.
Okay. Okay. If you like. Anything really outstandingly
okay,
different?
The other cover.
You better get this now.
I like guessing. And the other cover.
Okay.
Handbooks.
Oh, hold on. What did you just say then, bro?
The title itself.
No,
it's got the handbook.
He's got it. MashaAllah. You got it. Right. Okay. So, yes, there's a distinctive difference between the names of the books. The first two are called handbooks, and the third one's called the Master Mason's book. Bit strange. I sort of point that out because there is a reason it says that. It's the insinuations. One of the things I'd like to raise people's consciousness of is the fact that words are very powerful, and we have to look at the insinuations and the presumptions of speech in everything, and the functions of speech as well are quite important. You were talking about magic earlier. One of the main foundations of magic is psychology and linguistics. And combined, it's psycholinguistics, which I studied for many years. And I can tell you, okay, let me put it in a question format. You like these questions, I think.
I do.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. So, who can you think of on TV who absolutely denies being a magician? But he is.
Dan Brown.
Go on, say it again.
Dan Brown.
You're close. Darren Brown. Yeah.
Darren Brown.
Is that who
Darren Brown.
That's who you were thinking of, right?
Yeah.
He always denies being a magician, but he's a member of the Magic Circle, and he's more actually a magician in terms of what magic really predominantly involves than any of these other guys that you see, like Paul Daniels and David Blaine and all. Sorry, I had to mention Paul Daniels. He's old school, pulling the rabbit out of the hat.
I actually saw David Blaine in person.
Okay.
When he was in that glass box above the Thames.
What do you think he was doing? Do you think he was getting Jinn assistance then, or it was a trick, or? Because I know they use a lot of deception as well and trickery.
Yeah,
but there are some things, bro.
Looking at his eyes, looking at his state of mind, he looks deranged. He looks like there's a guy I was talking to recently who was a Satanist, and hours of doing Satanism and chanting and all that crap that they do, it led him to now seek, and now he's become Muslim, seek psychological help because of the trauma of being a Satanist. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys have done some mad stuff.
Yeah. I think so.
If you think about if pop singers and stuff are engaging in Satan worship, then why wouldn't magicians do the same if it would help? Because in the Magic Circle, I knew people from the Magic Circle back in the day in Jahiliyyah. They're always
Right.
competing with each other as well to outdo each other. So why wouldn't they seek assistance if they became aware of something like this?
Yeah, they do. They do. And if you go to, I don't know if you know where the Magic Circle headquarters are, but it's around the Drummond Street area in a little back alley. I can't remember the name of the back alley now. It's a really inconspicuous looking place, but if you can find the front door of it, it's glass and you can see through, and it proper just looks like a satanic temple right through the front door, man.
Oh.
They got the double circle on the floor with the 5-pointed star and the twin pillars. Everything's red in there, wooden furniture and stuff as well. Yeah, it's quite a mad looking spot. But yeah, magic. I want to raise people's awareness. There are actually a lot of talkers who use eloquent speech and they use magic to mess with people's heads. And I'm currently exposing a lot of this on my Instagram page, and it's going to be quite a shock for a lot of people because I find, unfortunately, today, and it's because of the magic this is happening, people have got extreme partisanship and bias towards whoever they listen to in terms of scholars or so-called scholars or du'at. It's a kind of personality worshipping cult, unfortunately, that we're witnessing now. And, you know, you can say one thing about a particular celebrity scholar or celebrity a celebrity da'i or something, and people just disengage immediately because of that partisanship. The Prophet actually said, one of the statements he said about the worst fitna that I leave behind for my ummah. We all know the one about women, but there's another one where he made this statement as well. And he actually said, what was it now? Subhanallah, it slipped my mind. Where was I again? I lost my train of thought, brother, because I have a lot going on right now.
Yeah, sorry, I had a phone call, and Imran is joining, jumping on a live stream. So, you know, it's Twitter Space, because that's something that him and I think Farouk.
Partisanship, that's it.
Yeah, Farouk has. Where is it?
Twitter Spaces on my Twitter.
Twitter Spaces. So anybody wants to join, they can join there. Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat what you said.
That's right. It was bias and partisanship. That was the other hadith where the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, one of the biggest fitnas that I leave behind me for my ummah. And he said is bias and partisanship, and it will destroy the ummah. There's another very important hadith that relates to this. I'm going to have to get the Arabic text up for this one because otherwise I'm afraid I might not remember every word. I usually can relay this from memory with the chain as well, but I just want to make sure because it's been a while since I read it. Okay, Musnad ad-Darimi, hadith 220. And you can find this in the same collection under Hadith 214, a similar narration. أخبرنا محمد بن عيينة أنبأنا علي هو ابن مسهر عن عن أبي إسحاق عن الشعبي عن زياد بن حدير قال لي عمر هل تعرف ما يهدم الإسلام؟ قال قلت لا. قال يهدمه زلة العالم وجدال المنافق بالكتاب وحكم الأئمة المضلين. So that means Umar ibn al-Khattab asked Ziyad bin Hudayr, do you know how Islam will be destroyed? And Ziyad said no. And Omar said, Islam will be destroyed by the slip of the scholar, the argument of the hypocrite about the book of Allah, and the misguided rulings of the imams. So we're in a very scary time now where there's a lot of hadith like this coming into play. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
You need to pay attention to the eloquent speakers out there that are presenting as scholars that are not actually scholars. Do you mind if I actually, would it be a harm if I named one or two of them?
No, I was going to say,
I don't.
I need to jump onto the live stream with Imran now. So it's good speaking to you, brother. Also,
no problem. Thank you, brother. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for joining this live stream. It was good. It was fun. And yeah, let me know what you think. I think me and Imran should do more live streams, inshallah. I think you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, let's keep in touch, and inshallah we'll be live on Friday. Is that Imran? I can't tell. Anyway, assalamu alaikum.